Okay. Hi, everybody. Late for the stream today. Very late for the stream. Some stuff's not working. It's just going to be one of those days, I think, where I don't know what's happening. I don't even know if I'm live. Let's check. Let's check Twitch. Ryan Welcher Codes. Am I live on the Ryan Welcher Codes? Yep, there I am. Okay, so we're live. And I don't know. So hi, I don't really have anything set up. Not ready. I gotta close a bunch of stuff. Oh man, it's just crazy. Oh, my camera's not even working. What's going on with the camera? Hold on. Oh my god. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Where is it? You turn that on? No, it's never too early to call it for.
Oh, great, it's battle the court.
I don't know what's happening, but now my music's not working. Oh. Can you... Why did I decide to stream? I should have just said I'm not going to stream today. I can't hear the music. I don't know. Can y'all hear the music? I don't know what's going on. But yeah, so anyways, Troy pinged me and was like, hey, are you going to stream today? And I'm like, well, I probably should. But I was working. What is going on? You can hear it? Okay. Okay, I can hear it now. This is quiet. That's fine. So I have zero plan today. None. I was working on a video for... Oh, my camera's still not working. That was the problem. Hold on. That was the problem. Okay. Where's my camera? Is that my camera?
Oh, great, it's self-wizard.
Oh, there I am. There I am. That's far too big. There we go. Oh my goodness. You know, I was trying to set some stuff up the other day, and I broke it. I clearly broke it. Now you can see behind the curtain. Why does it look like that? Oh, I know I have to do this. No. Is it this button? No, it's this button? One of these buttons crops it. There we go. There we go. So there we go. I don't know. Is this gonna work? Is this camera gonna move? Oh my god. What just happened there? Oh my lord. Oh. This is how it's gonna be. I'm just gonna be like this the whole time. That's it. Decided. Decided that's how it's gonna be. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. Oh, there's a bar up here. Oh my god. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, friends. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. And I don't know what this is. There's a little thing here in the bottom of the screen, like right here. Right, I can't see it. Like right here. There. I don't know what it is. Okay, bad dude core. What do you want me to do? Show people how to properly use entity records to save core options and proper invalidation. Well, that's a lot of setup that I'm not prepared for. Let's see. So you want to save like site options. Is that what you're talking about? Let's see. Let's see what I can do here. This is not what I need. This is the one I'll bring over here. Let's see. Any option. Okay, so I did this a while ago in a do I have it? Do I have it here? It's the options. Okay, cool. So yeah, so I have an example of that somewhere. Let me see if I can dig that up. And I apologize for the very professional level stream today. None of my stuff is working. Everything's broken. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. There is a... I don't think I have it in here, but I have to find it. Let me look. For example, shuttle block testing for presentation. I'm gonna go over to my GitHub. Let's go to my GitHub. That's not it. Sorry, I have a repository. Sure thing. Pre-published checklist. So this is the repository for a workshop. Pretty good breakdown. Yeah. That's a good article for sure. Yep. So use and entity records is great. So the thing is, like, you're gonna want, but I don't know if you use an entity record. Let's look. So I have an admin page in here. I'm gonna zoom in. Where I guess see, did I do it in here? No. Okay. So this is a custom admin screen. Where I did a data store, but what I'm doing is dispatching. Okay, so save entity record is what you want, and you want to retrieve entity record, right? Where do I do that? Maybe I'm not getting it from there. I have to look again. So in the admin, the data store, let's go to components. We're going to what do we do? Featured image, settings screen. Select store get settings. Okay, so let's look at that. Oh my god, I have to sneeze. Get settings. Where's get settings? Reducer, selectors, get settings. Preference settings for state. Okay, so we get settings is in here. So this is what we're going to be doing. So get entity record, root, site. That's how you get the WP options, right? If you register something properly, you can make it available. So yeah, so what this is doing in here is if I go into, where would it be? I can't remember where I did it. It's been like 3 years since I worked on this. So yeah, so I'm creating an admin page. I'm setting that up, doing this. So I'm register settings, right? Making sure that showing in REST is true or it's set. And then that's going to allow me to save these 3 properties. I have word count. I have required for feature image and required category, all that stuff. Here's some default values, right? So the word count, you see what I'm saying? And then in the store, what I'm doing is, this is a bit convoluted, but basically I'm setting up my own store. And I am using get entity record because we want to get the root site. And so that's going to retrieve the settings for us. And as long as they're available. So if we were to do that like in a WordPress site, you get Studio open here. Yeah. Let's just TypeScript. That's what I want. I literally fired this stream up 2 minutes before I came online. So who knows what's going on, really, to be honest. I don't know. I can drink my coffee. Oh, the other thing is I have to wear my Christmas hat because it is Christmas. Oh yeah, I'm gonna update WordPress. Gotta do that. Let's do that. This is a hat from a local thing called Santa's Village. See that? Santa's Village. Sure. Oh yeah, check this out. Want to see something? There he is, right there. Woo! Actually, Aki did all the hard work. I just wrote his coattails. and yeah. So, let's look. Do we have anybody from our stream in here? I have something similar for a plugin, but when I came across that article and I was like, am I doing it wrong by scaffolding all this in a custom data store? No, I don't think so. You can do that in a data store. It just really depends on what you're doing with the data. I think like I did a data store here because I wanted to do a data store, but I also wanted to make this like a lot easier. For example, like I wanted to be able to get user preferences from the user preferences, right? Which are stored in local storage. And I just wanted to build a custom store is really what it was. And some of the stuff is pretty sort of custom functionality, right? Like we just wanted to, we want to set the word counts, a nice easy function that gets called in the, inside of the components, which I'm looking for right here. So like in the admin, we have like components. So like, let's see, word count. So for example, we're going to pull word count from the store that we're retrieving, right? So like store.get word count. It's really nice and easy. So we just have this like set word count function. So we don't have to do all the under the hood stuff, right? I personally like this, but this also might be overkill for what I'm doing, which is very, very simple. But if you have a very complicated set of data that you're dealing with, a very complicated interface, you might want to have the luxury of these sort of like, helper methods. All right, we were gonna look up. Let's see in here. I need some usernames. Let's see. Troy, are you in here? Yeah, there's Troy. All right, who else? Nice, man. Troy's in here. I'm trying to see who else we got. Let's see if Kevin's in here. Kevin Leary, no. Oh, Kevin didn't make the cut. Weird. Unless he doesn't. Okay. And then who else? Drop usernames in here and I'll check. Because I don't see anybody. There's a lot of people to look through here. I need to do Batdorf. Anyways, I forget what I was doing here. I forget why I was doing this. Lost my train of thought. Oh, right, okay. What I wanted to check. Oh, I know what I wanted to check. I wanted to look at inside of inspect here, console. Clear this out. And so you should be able to do like wp.data.select, right? This is going to fail because I need the top level. But I got to look in here. So, so retrieving this from, we're not going to be able to get the you're not going to, so this is basically what it is, right? Resolve, select, core. Okay. So select, I'm going to say core. Do a bop, get entity record root site. And so this is returning all of the site options. So you can throw them all in there because they have to be available to the REST API, but that's how you would retrieve them. So the thing is, like, it's not get entity records because there's only a single entity. So the record is root, like it's the way it's stored. It's like basically the entity type is root, and this is a record for a site. So it's not like you would call. It's like when you call get entity record for a post. Like you don't call it just to get the meta. You can use entity prop, which is a different thing. And I actually don't know if entity prop would work in this case. I don't think it would because we're getting all the site options here. So that's how that gets pulled in as a single option. And then you have to handle, I keep jumping around screens, I don't know what I'm doing. Then you have to handle dealing with it directly, right? So like we're pulling settings, and then I am basically pulling my pre-published checklist data thing off of the settings and passing it to my init settings dispatch, which is up here. Oh, not there. Where is it? Here. And that's just basically setting that in state. Simple, you know? Simple. Yeah. What's everyone got planned for the holidays? Anything cool? Oh, I think I don't know if you can hear that. My dryer is tapping on the wall, telling me that it's here and it's ready. You know, yeah. Cool. So. Yeah, I figured today I'd probably just end up just chatting with everybody. Video games, interactivity API learning. Nice. Nice. Oh, nice. Elpos, your brother comes from Italy with his family. We're going to the Caribbean. Where in the Caribbean are you going? if you don't mind sharing, Alpus Original, my friend, where are you going in the Caribbean? Because I am also going somewhere in the Caribbean. I think it's in the Caribbean. I don't know. It's Costa Rica. Oh, nice. Costa Rica, Limon, Puerto Viejo. That's amazing. I'm going to the Cayman Islands, which may or may not be in the... you have both oceans. That's so cool. So cool. I'm going to Cayman Islands. So, too bad you weren't going to be there. But I hear we might be meeting in Costa Rica at some point. There's a rumor. There's a rumor. Okay, so I have to say this. I went to San Diego. I went to WordCamp Sofia and in Bulgaria, which was amazing. It was such a fun time. The organizing team did an amazing job. It was so much fun. I'd never been to Bulgaria before, but they were so accommodating for me because I'm so difficult with all my Devo requests. And they were great. It was so much fun. We had such a great community there. People were really, really excited. And it was the first time I'd ever been to a WordCamp where English was not the primary language. And it was very cool for me to experience that because, I mean, as an English speaker, I think I'm pretty spoiled because wherever I go, English is usually the primary language, is sort of the language of development, which is kind of a thing. But so it was very cool to be like in a room, you know. So the opening remarks that he says, "How many people here speak English?" And like 5 of us put our hands up. So he said, "I'm just going to continue in Bulgarian, and y'all can follow along on the slides." And it was great. It was really cool. I knew where I needed to be and stuff. And they had 2 tracks, and in each track at any given time there was either an English or a Bulgarian talk. So it was great. It was really cool. And then we had an amazing contributor day, which was the day after the event, and it was at this really cool co-working space. I took the subway there from the hotel and walked around a bit and got to kind of soak in the Bulgarian city of Sofia. It was really cool. And then we're sort of at the top, the 6th floor, which had this like, we were overseeing like the mountains and stuff. It was really cool. It was really, really great. And we got some stuff done. I helped somebody get their first props with Gutenberg, which is really cool. It's a really small like documentation issue, but that's the best way to start because it's pretty low risk, and I was able to just approve the pull request, and we got it in. It was great. It was really cool. We talked about some really cool stuff. We talked about the command palette. I was speaking with a fellow automatician there, and we were looking at some of the command palette stuff that's in 6.9. If you're not aware, the command palette is now available everywhere. So it used to be only available like in the block editor or the site editor. So you hit Command K and you get your stuff. But now anywhere in the admin, yes, I'm going to leave the site. Now anywhere in the admin makes it work. Yeah, that's what I thought too, Troy. It was interesting. I think that's the way it used to be in a lot of places. I've just gotten used to it at the flagship level, where like it's the first day and then we have the day afterwards. But it was cool. I will say this: I think the after party claimed a bunch of attendees because it was a fun after party. It was very cool. I was staying at a hotel, basically like a 2-minute walk right from the venue, and there was a bridge, like a pedestrian bridge, over top of the highway or the main road there, and it was this little bar that was sort of like nestled underneath the bridge, but it was really cool. It was like a very, very chill vibe, and the drinks were flowing, and I think a lot of people probably would have made it to a contributor day if it hadn't have been that party was the night before. But it was still a really great turnout. And one thing that I thought was really cool to see was they had a huge. There was basically 2 tables. We had I was helping out there. But there was like 6 or 7 of us maybe at the core table. We all kind of knew what we wanted to do, so it was very chill, just a lot of really real cool conversations. But then they had a polyglots table, and there was like probably the majority of the people were there, and they were figuring out how to translate the Abilities API and all of its terminology and all that stuff into Bulgarian. And it was this really cool, like process to see, because they were like, well, we have this word that means this, and they were trying to they were literally like making up words, not making words, but they were like making decisions as to how it would be represented to the entire Bulgarian community in WordPress, like at that contributor day. It was really cool. It was really, really cool to see. Cool to connect with folks leading up to contributor day and talk about it. Would be cool to connect with folks leading up to contributor day and talk things out more in the hallway track. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, I think that's a kind of a cool idea, because then you sort of meet these people and you've kind of met them through the course of the day or multiple days prior to, and then so yeah, it's neat. I think there's like benefits to both. I think when the contributor day is up front, everyone is super excited to be there, because they haven't had they're not suffering from conference fatigue or too many drinks the night before, so that's cool. So WordCamp Sofia was a huge success. Really enjoyed it. And then at the very last minute, I was asked to attend the State of the Word, which was crazy. It was in San Francisco, and so I had to fly from Bulgaria to San Francisco, just like 11 hours from Frankfurt, I think. So that was fun. But I got to San Francisco. I'd never been there before. It was very, very quick. But I got to ride in a Waymo, which is a fully automated taxi, like Uber basically, but it's like by our AI overlords, and it was very cool. I really, really enjoyed it. It was weird because I shared that one with a couple of friends of mine who were also there for the event, and we get in the car, and I'm just like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, this is so cool. There's no driver. There's like you press a button to start the ride, and like you unlock the car with the app, and you show up, and it's got like your name, your initials on the little like siren sort of light thing on the top. So I get in, and immediately we're not like concerned that like a robot is driving us around without any intervention from a human, but we're more like critiquing the driving skill of the car. It was kind of funny. We're like, why does it keep going in the left lane? This is dumb. It's not lane. And I'm like, when really we should be just terrified that a robot is driving us around the busy streets of San Francisco. But it was fun. Very cool. A lot of fun. Hey, Sir Lewin is hanging out in the chat. I think it's bad form to call people out who are in the chat and not chatting, but yeah, probably better than most drivers. Well, so I took it. So the one thing about the Waymo is that it's not allowed to go on the freeways in San Francisco. It's not been approved yet for that. So when you take it, it kind of takes roundabout ways. So it takes you a little bit longer to get to certain places. So I didn't take one to the airport because I had a very early flight the next morning. So I wanted to. So I took an Uber, and I was talking to the Uber driver, and he says he hates driving with them because they're very like they're erratic in the sense that like they'll signal to change lanes, and then they won't because they'll change their mind or whatever, or maybe they will, and they move really quickly. So you have to have your head on a swivel, I guess, with them. But I mean, if we took all the human drivers off the road and just put all the Waymos on the road, their LiDAR and stuff was amazing. You could see, like, there was a heads-up display in the front of the car, and you could see all the people walking around, and they were like orange, and it showed you all the cars, and it was like it knew where everything was. So I imagine if you have a bunch of cars that are making these decisions, everything's fine. Someone was telling me that they took one time, and it was kind of stuck between a parked vehicle and like another vehicle, and then all of a sudden it made like this crazy hardcore turn that no human would have made, but because it knew it had like 2 inches or something between like the car and it was able to make it. So I don't know, it was a bit of a trippy experience for sure. David Carr, I missed what you said there. What does it say? Did I ever circle back to the challenge of embedding the editor in a front end page or admin screen? I saw the stream where you attempted, but it didn't quite get to work. I never got back to it, but it is possible. Very much so. Front end might be weird because you might want to be careful with front end. Well, although with the front end, so the thing is, you should probably be very careful with using it on the front end, because you have to save the data somewhere. So if you're not going to save it like in the browser, if you're not going to save it like in session storage, which is totally fine, you will need to have some means of protecting your site from being destroyed. You know, yeah. Did I ever get around to it? I don't remember. I don't think I ever got back to it. No. But I did work on something, and I'm pretty sure I shared this, but there was like a presentation repo. See if I can actually, okay, my keyboard's gone dead. Wait for it to reconnect. Come on now. Is it dead? Oh, it's actually dead. Sorry, stand by. Technical issues everywhere today. Let's see. There he is. Presentation. I think it's this one. What I was doing here is the idea was I was there's a block that had, is this the one? It had, no, must have been the other one. The slide had, I had two blocks. Basically, it was a presentation and then a slide in each one, and then there was like speaker notes, and speaker notes were actually a block editor that got input in it, so you can insert certain things. And I think I changed, yeah, the allowed block types. Now, actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just grab this. Hold on, let me just grab this. We can take a look at it. I'll just check this out. Yes, best code, and we'll get into plugins. I'm gonna go git clone. Oh my god, clone. Boom. Okay, cloning in the presentation. So cd presentation and pma and npm start. Let's see what we can do there. Let's get this a little bit zoomed in so y'all can see it. All right, that's just doing that. Okay, so we'll get in here. And we'll activate the presentations. Don't even remember how this all works, but we'll just see. Let's go. Presentation. And I think should be a presentation block. There it is. Okay, so I have a presentation. Inside of that, I think I can only put a slide in. Yeah, so I have a slide in there. And then, so my slide is whatever do you want to put in there. And then in the slide itself, you can open speaker notes. So speaker notes are actually, this is actually a block editor inside of it. So you can insert your paragraphs, right? And you can add your heading block. So there's some jankiness about this because it's a block editor inside of a block editor, which didn't really. Right, so you can save that. Now we should be able to get in this slide and see that there's no speaker notes in there, and then this, we should see the speaker notes are working, right? And then if we were to like publish this, I think you could do view post, and then there's like what was it? I don't even remember how to do it, but there was like a, let's see, presentation. We're gonna go into Vue.js. Right, there we go. Next slide, current slide. Key down is going to be arrow left, arrow right. S is start presentation. N is open window. Okay, so I think I would do N. Yeah, so there's your speaker notes that get popped in there, and then I had this S. Oh, full screen. Not super duper helpful, but basically when you jump through here, oh, it's not connected. Oh, it is connected. Oh, weird. Okay, so it's not. It has to be. I think it has to be highlighted. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, but this is all done in speaker notes. So this was a really like janky system that I put together. I have what'd you say now? I have an application that manipulates blocks through a custom React script, but would prefer to be able to use a block editor instance with some filtering / customization. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You can absolutely do that. So the thing that you're gonna have to figure. So this is a. So this, sorry, is it what's this built on top of? Is it built on top of WordPress? what's saving the, where's the data being saved? Is it a WordPress site? We're going to pause the stream until David answers me. Okay, so it's built on top of WordPress. And so your intention is that you have a front end that has a block editor. That is the user logged in? So there's a bunch of questions there. Save to post by custom script right now. Okay, so you're handling the saving, right? Is okay, cool. All right, so all you need to do is, I mean, this is very high level, but basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to initialize your block inspector. Okay. And then you're going to want to, so basically you're going to give it a block editor provider, and you're going to be able to set the blocks here. Set blocks is use state. I'm just using state here. So parse is pulled out from speaker notes is passed to it, which is the data. So maybe I should look at the edit. Here is the speaker notes. Back to control. Speaker notes. Set. So inside of here we have set attributes, set blocks, changes. Okay. And then, where am I saving this? Okay, so I'm actually saving this as attributes, right? So when I save this, I'm taking the blocks, serializing them, and saving them as an attribute to this. What you're going to do is you're going to want to serialize those blocks and pass that to your script, right? Because like what does your custom script accept? Like is it a data or like whatever you need to do? Because that's all you'll have to do is just inject this into a React application, and you could literally start with what I've given you here in this file. Not that file. Where is it? This one? Where? Hello. So you could start with whatever's in here. Sorry. And this will give you a very basic starting point of creating like the block editor part. Because really the block editor, like this is what's handling the block editor. Like, so I have this, there's like some headers and footers and stuff like that in there, but really this is it. And so the block editor provider shows up in here. So this is it, right? So if we compare that to what's in here, you see with the block editor provider, I have a header somewhere, which I'm not actually using, I guess, but so that's the block editor provider right in there, right in here, and here's the block tool. So, and then this button appears below it, and then I don't know, I'm not using header sidebar, so I don't know where speaker notes is coming in. Oh, it's the modal. Where the deuce is the modal? Must be wrapping this inside of a modal. Oh yeah, so I'm wrapping it inside of a modal, and that's where the speaker notes thing comes from. So this is just being wrapped inside of a modal. So you can wrap this inside of whatever you need, right? That's what's handling this. But this speaker notes thing could be just rendered directly into a React application, and then you just need to manage your state, and that's it, really. Currently, I have an API script that takes an API call and tries to construct the block objects, but probably some wasted effort. If I could create a block editor solution, yeah. So you can do that. So this is what you'll want to do. You're going to want to set up a block editor provider where you're going to set the value is whatever the block content is. You're going to get the on input and on change stuff, and that's going to set blocks, right? Then the settings is really where you're going to want to spend the most of your time, because this is where you're going to set the allowed blocks and all of that stuff, right? And if you want to get the settings, I believe you can retrieve settings right from the data store. So like if you want to see like wp.data select core, I think it's block editor. I don't know if this one is what I'm looking for. It might have been deprecated. Okay, so we have core block editor, so you can say get maybe that's not the one I want. Get settings. So when you call this, let's do that. You can get a sense of what the settings are. So get settings, right? You can call that, and these are the sort of settings. These are the settings that you will want to sort of take into account. You can just access that there when you're building out your own. Like you may not need to change any of this stuff, right? Like, and some of these get automatically populated by theme.json, so you won't be able to make any changes. Like some of this stuff, you know. But what I'm doing here is setting the block types that I want. So keep in mind as well that you're going to want to have like your slot fill provider in there, your shortcut provider. You're going to want to have all this stuff in here because that's actually the list of blocks, right? And you want to register your shortcuts. The reason that you'll want slot fill provider is so you can have all of your block tools. Like if I come in here now, I'm thinking that this works, but if you grab that, see, you'll want all of this stuff as well. Oh, that's cool. Oh, cool. It's a new block. But yeah, so you're going to want to have all of that because the slot fill is also what populates the inspector controls on the sidebar. So you'll want to make sure that you've accounted for that. Like I didn't account for that in here because it didn't work for me because there can only be one inspector control, and it started failing horribly for me. So I would look at sort of dive into rebuilding parts of this, because really, like, this is the block editor here, and then there's a sidebar where your inspector controls are going to be exposed, which we can look at here actually. So I can just do for I think inspector controls, I think .slot is what I want. Nope. Oh, because I didn't spell it right. Inspector controls. So we'll do that. So there should be like a .slot that's being exposed in here. You know what? I'm going to do this ever so slightly differently. I think I should just be able to put .slot. That'll pop out. There it is. So like the block inspector right here, right? So this is the source of the block inspector. So we've got inspector controls.slot. So this is and there's been a bunch of groups assigned. So background, typography, domain, target these inspector controls, but you're going to want to have that in your sidebar somewhere if you want to be able to access those particular items. Yeah. So style. So there's a whole bunch of these, but that's basically what you're going to want to do. Inspector control tabs. So there's the tabs here. So there's just a lot going on, right? But there's a lot of pieces. I mean, it's a huge thing. Then there's not one like block editor component. Like there's not just one that gives you everything, because it's tied pretty tightly to various parts of the API. The other thing that you have to keep take into account is that the block editor is meant to be run on the back end, and so I don't know how it's going to react to not having all of the scripts enqueued, and also some of the endpoints may not be public. Like you may have to be logged in. I guess they're authenticated anyways, but you may have to make calls to things like get categories and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I'm rambling on. I look ridiculous in this hat, but I'm fine with it. But David F. Carr, I'd love to see what you're building when you're done. Where would I find documentation on block editor provider? Good question. Block editor provider was going to be in the block editor handbook, so you should be able to go block. I can't type block editor provider. It should come up in the editor package, I think. Maybe it's not in that one. It's going to be in one of these. There we go. Yeah. There's the docs right there. That's the docs for you, friend. Ridiculous. All right. So I'm going to suggest that you come into here and you come into block editor provider. Okay. That's not helpful in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so I think it's in block. What package is that? Block editor. So we should be able to come into block editor. And it's really weird that it's not. Okay, so let's track it down. So we go into source. It's going to be exported. Like this is how I do it. I'd be like, I don't know why this isn't working. So I'm going to go check it out. So it looks like it's exporting all the things from components. So that means in source, we're going to look in components. There'll be an index in here that is exporting all the things. And we could probably find block editor provider in here somewhere. So export default as block editor provider from the provider file. So we come back in here now and we look for provider, which will be somewhere in here. There it is. There it is. And so this is the block editor provider. So I don't know why that's not documented correctly, but it is in there. And we're going to set this to trunk so you get the most up-to-date version. You're gonna do that. Hey, no worries, man. That's why I'm here. So this is going to show you the stuff that you need. So there's not really a whole ton going on here. So I would probably spend some time digging into the actual source code. Right. So if we look in index, we can see there's a lot going on here. But this is going to tell you, like, it's going to give you access to the props, right? So we have this block editor props. It wraps into experiment with the block editor provider. So we can look at that, wherever that comes from. Where does that? Oh, maybe. Okay. So with registry. So yeah, there's a lot going on, right? So we've got a slot field provider. It's passing through all this stuff. So there's a bunch of things to kind of get into that. It's too bad that there is in the block editor handbook, there is actually there's a how-to guide about building. Where is that? These reference guides. I'm just gonna do a search. This is what custom block editor. Capital building custom block editor. So this is the article that I was following, and it is a little out of date, but this will give you a lot of the theory behind it, and you may just have to kind of fight through some of the differences in code. But this is definitely where I would start. Yeah. So anyways, plan for today is just to hang out and chat a little bit. So I may just end up calling it now. It's only been an hour, but thanks for hanging out with me. I will not be streaming for the next 3 weeks because I am away. So I probably won't see you until the next year. And so if I don't talk to you before, have a wonderful holiday. If you celebrate holidays. And keep a lookout for the What's New for Developers December 2025 video, which I just finished today, which is why I started running. I was running late to our stream. But check that out. Let me know what you think. And it's always great hanging out with y'all, and I hope you have a great holiday. And I'm going to call it. So have a good one. Drink lots of eggnog, if that's your thing. I'm going to be drinking a ton of rum in the Cayman Islands, which is where we're headed. I like to drink Malibu, which I call Malibu, which I think I got from a Kanye song. Get that nog. That's right. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know. Last Black Friday, was it Black Friday? I can't remember. We got a Ninja Creamy, which sounds horrible, but it's like an ice cream maker. And my wife's been making eggnog Ninja Creamies, and they are amazing. They're amazing. So I'll leave you with that. That is my Christmas trick. So thanks for hanging out with me again today. If you are in the chat and you haven't said hi, say hi, or I say hi to you, whatever. And yeah, we'll talk next year. We'll have actually something planned that we can work on. I am thinking I'm going to bring back the Bring Me Your Issues streams where people can ask for help and we can try to solve those problems together. So if you want to do that, I think, is it my Twitch repository? That's how long it's been. Let's take a look. No, not that one. Here. Let's look. Did I do it in Twitch? I can't remember. I'm going to drop it in here and we can pick it up again. I think we have like issues in here. Yeah. There we go. So add issues here over the holidays as things come out, because we have a new version of WordPress. So if anything is coming up and you're not sure how to work with a thing or do a thing or whatever a thing, add it in there and we will do some streams on it next year. Sounds great. In that, I'm just rambling at this point. You all have a great holiday, and I'll talk to you later. First, I'm going to do, this is the final Kevin of the year. Kevin!
Madly in love with you.
And the final
Ain't
sweeper.
nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. On that note, I will let you all go. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. See you in 2026.